Good morning, third grade. I want to go over your mid-chapter checkpoint today. Under concepts and skills, it says when two fractions refer to the same whole, explain why the fraction with a lesser or smaller denominator has larger pieces than the fraction with the greater denominator. And that can be summed up in one sentence. Because the whole is divided into lesser pieces. So, and I told you if you wanted to, you could draw a diagram. So if you drew two pies approximately the same size, and our question was when two fractions refer to the same whole, why is the fraction with a lesser denominator has larger pieces than the fraction with the greater denominator? I'm going to cut my pie into fourths. And this pie I'm going to cut into sixths. No, eighths. So 1/4, 1/8. Because the whole is divided into lesser pieces, even though it's got the smaller number. Number 2 says when two fractions refer to the same whole, meaning they're both divided into fourths, the same whole, and have the same denominators, so they're both going to be fourths. Explain why you can compare only the numerators. Well, if they're both cut into fourths, you can only compare numerators. For instance, this one I will shade in 1/4, and the next one I will shade in 2/4. So I'm comparing 1/4 and 2/4. Why can you only compare the numerators? Well, the whole is cut into the same size pieces. So look at which fraction has more pieces. 1/4, 2/4. This one has more pieces, so it's the larger. Now in 3 through 11, it says compare by writing lesser than, greater than, or equal. 1/6 is less than 1/4. There you go again with the pie being cut into more pieces, so one of them is smaller. 1/8 equals 1/8. 2/8 is less than 2/3. Again, look at the denominator. If my pie's cut into 8 pieces, this one's cut into 3 pieces, and I eat 2 of the little pieces and 2 of the bigger pieces. This is much larger. Now, number 6 is interesting because it's got 4 halves to 1/2. You can easily just compare the numerators, 4 to 1. So 4 is much larger. Same thing in number 7. 7/8 or 3/8. 7 is much larger, so it's greater than. Now the next one again has different denominators. 5/6 or 2/3. If my pie is cut into 6 pieces and I eat 5 of them, there's only one very small piece left. If my pie is cut into thirds, the pieces are very large, but I only ate 2, so the piece remaining is much larger. So 5/6 is greater than 2/3. Now in number 9, we're just comparing numerators because the denominators are the same. 2 is less than 3. Number 10, 6/6 actually equals 1 whole. And this is 6/8. It's not quite a whole, so it's less than 6/6. And number 11, 3/4 is less than 7/8. Again, if I cut my pie into 8 pieces and I eat 7 out of the 8, there's only a teeny bit left. If I cut my pie into 4 pieces and I eat 3 out of the 4, there's a larger piece left. So 3/4 is smaller than 7/8. Now, this one says name a fraction that is less than or greater than the given fraction. Draw to justify. 2/6 and 3/6. I drew pies. 3/6 is a half, and that's greater than 2/6. 2/3 and 1/3. 2/3 is greater than, and they wanted me to do a fraction that was less than 2/3, and I chose 1/3. On the back, number 14 says, 2 walls in Tiffany's room are the same size. Tiffany paints 1/4 of the wall of one wall, and Jake paints 1/8 of the other wall. Which of the following correctly compares the fractions? C. 1/4 is greater than 1/8. Matthew ran 5/8 of a mile during track practice. Paul ran 5/6 of a mile. Which of the following correctly compares the fractions? 5/8 is less than 5/6. Mallory bought 6 roses for her mother. 2/6 of the roses are red and 4/6 are yellow. Which of the following correctly compares the fractions? 2/6 is less than 4/6. Lanny uses 2/3 cup of raisins and 3/4 cup of oatmeal to bake cookies. Which statement is correct? D. Lanny uses less raisins than oatmeal because he only used 2/3 cup of raisins, but 3/4 cup of oatmeal. Go back and correct your answers, and tomorrow we will continue with Chapter 9. There are only 3 more lessons left in Chapter 9, so we will or should be finished with Chapter 9 by Monday of next week. We'll finish that and then move on to Chapter 10 by Wednesday of next week. Thank you.